Hello, I am Jen. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. This is the start of my Silver Elite by Dani Francis reading vlog. I'm going to talk to you while I make dinner. I am making hibachi. It's actually Cheater's hibachi because I just buy the frozen fried rice and then add the meat and the veggies into it. So unless you have been living under a rock, also excuse the sweatiness. I just came back from the grocery store in the middle of the day in the summer in Florida. And it is face meltingly hot. Cutting up some zucchini while I talk to you. So unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably heard of Silver Elite by Dani Francis. Here's the cover because my hands are yucky and I don't want to touch the book. This is a new release dystopian. And other than that, I don't really know much about it. I did get influenced, enjoying the hype, and got the Book of the Month special edition with the cool sprayed edges. And I have heard a little bit of some, I don't want to say controversy, but maybe some theories about who Dani Francis is. Now, I have not dug or dove or delved too much into this. This is just stuff that I've been hearing on the surface without really doing my own research. But people think that she is using Dani Francis as a pen name and that she is a well-known author. Some people have speculated Sarah J. Maas. Personally, I don't think that that's the case. The Sarah J. Maas thing, maybe the pen name thing is true. I don't know. And I think one of the reasons people think that is because even though this is Dani Francis's debut novel, she already has a very large social media following. And I think that's what tipped people off. So far, I have only read the first chapter, but it was a banger. Some takeaways. It really hit the ground running. There was not a whole lot of slow, sluggish setup. It was action pretty much right from the beginning. We were not thrown a whole bunch of world building and names and circumstances that we had to try to filter and organize in our brain. There was some action. Ren, who is the main character, at least she's the main character in chapter 1. I think she will remain to be the main character. Did some badass Katniss Everdeen moves. Actually, it was sort of a mashup of Katniss Everdeen and Feyre Archeron. There's a map in the front of the book, and because of the map put together with some other things that were mentioned in chapter 1, I am led to believe that the setting of this story is in the United States, but in the future when the United States does not really look like the United States. The map is reminiscent of the shape of the United States and Mexico and South America, but it is obviously very much different. And we were introduced to somebody who I think is going to be a the romantic interest. Who knows? Actually, there were 2 men who were talked about, so maybe there's going to be a love triangle. I don't know. I don't know how heavily on the romance side this book is going to be. Like I said, I really don't know anything about it. So I'm going to finish up here with the hibachi, and hopefully I'll be able to read more tonight and come and talk to you about it at a later date.
These spaces shouldn't use that whole 40K. So we'll have
Quick reading update. Silver Elite. I am 162 pages in, and I'm loving it so far. The pacing is so action-packed. There are no slow moments. There has been a scene or two that is a little hard to read, but one of my favorite parts right now is that Ren is our main character, and she is a mod. So she is modified in some way due to some sort of radiation that was caused by some wars that were going on a long time ago. So basically there's 2 groups of people. There's the people who are modded and the people who are not modded. And the primes, which are the people who are not modded, are trying to eliminate the mods. Nobody knows that Ren is a mod because when she uses her telepathy, unlike other mods, her blood is not silver. So when she uses her telepathy, her veins don't glow silver like other mods do. So she is able to keep it on the down low. And you can basically create a link between you and somebody else who has this telepathy modification. And it's sort of similar to sliding into someone's DMs. And so there is a person, a man, that calls himself Wolf. That's not his real name. They decided to give each other code names. She doesn't want to reveal too much information about herself, which understandable. He basically slid into her mind DMs one day and they established a friendship and they've sort of grown up together, having these check-ins with each other. I am very, very interested to see how this plays out because I feel like Wolf is somebody that she knows. There is also a trope in here that I am all for, and that is the forbidden romance trope. Literally, the son of the general, who is like the big bad because he is overseeing trying to get rid of these mods, is not only extremely handsome, but he is over her. He is her captain. And as much as she is trying to not be attracted to him, she just can't help it. There's also another friendship relationship. I don't think it's going to turn into a romantic relationship, but it's between her and another person who is training in the silver block. And he is an awful flirt. He just flirts with her endlessly. And she sort of flirts back with him just to kind of give him a taste of his own medicine, but I don't really think that there's anything there. I feel like their friendship is going to blossom. It has been a while since I have read a book that was this, like, boom, 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 action, 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 one thing after another. No lulls, no slow spots. I understand that that could still come, but right now, I am loving this. I am hoping to have this finished in the next couple of days. If I had just an entire day to sit and read it, I could finish it today. I had planned to update you before the end of the book, but every time I thought I need to sit down and update my video, I thought, or I could just keep reading. Let me tell you, I have not been this hooked by a book in a long time. The pacing was perfect. Just when I thought that I was starting to get bored with a scenario, because this is all set in like a military type of academy where they have to wear uniforms and there's drills, very disciplined. There would be a scene where they got to put on a dress and go to a club. This book really, really held my interest. The other thing that I loved about the ending of Silver Elite were the twists and the turns. There was one thing that I predicted that did come true, and even though I had sort of pegged it from the beginning, it was so emotional to read. It made the relationships in this book that much cooler. The twists and the turns at the very end of the book rivaled Brandon Sanderson's Sanderlanche, where at the end of all of his books, all these things are just thrown at you and the action is intense and we find things out. That's how the end of Silver Elite was. Danny Francis did a perfect job of ending the book in a way that is making me absolutely feral for the second book. I did look up some fan art for the characters because I was having a hard time picturing them in my head, and I did not find personally any fan art that was spoilery. I think at this point in the game, the book is too new to have too much of that type of stuff floating around the internet. I have heard some people ask me if I agree with the fact that it was categorized as a dystopian. And I do agree that that is the perfect genre to put Silver Elite in. The setting is clearly the American continents, but not in the way that we know them now. It is clear that a lot of turmoil has happened in the last couple hundred years that has completely changed the landscape of America as we know it. And we are thrown bits and pieces of this information as we read the book. Sorry, my curtains are moving. The cats are having a heyday. Stop. I rated this a 5-star. I would rate it a 6-star if I could. A++ across the board. Highly recommend Silver Elite by Dani Francis.